Welcome back to the Losing It podcast. How are you all doing? It's lovely to see you here. We like to see you here each week. I'm going to say it up front in case you don't listen all the way through. Please like and subscribe. We put a video out every single Monday. So click the
Some of our
button and the
videos are
bell.
so long. I
I
wouldn't.
know.
But then lots of people say that to me. They're like, "Oh, could you make it a little bit longer? Could
I
you?"
know they do, and I'm always shocked.
But it's good though because in a way it's like, well, what do we talk about? How do we, how do we? And sometimes it's just nice to have a chat. And
Yes.
it's nice to lean into that interaction because people, they're not necessarily people on here. They're people who come to my appointments and will
Yeah.
say to me, "Oh, I really, So it's happening in the real world, which is no good for the algorithm. Actually,
No.
it's not helping to push this video out, but it is very nice to know that we're not just, talking into the ether.
Yes.
You are out there and you do like hearing from us. And yeah,
We certainly
and
do.
we do get asked to do the same video over and over and over again, which I think is testament to who we are and the kind of support we provide. How to
Yeah.
drink your water in the cool weather. A lot of what we do is the basics brilliantly. And I think that makes it makes a huge difference. How much can I lose? That's another one. We get asked that a lot. So if you're here and you're kind of, oh, who are these women and what's my, in your research phase on the lower steps, about a stone a month.
Yeah.
But everybody is individual and we all lose at our own rate and we all stick to plan or not in our own unique ways. And
Exactly.
that's where having a consultant comes in really handy because we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt in every size, and we know it inside out. So we may not know you inside out, but a lot of the struggles and strengths that you encounter along the way in your weight loss journey we will have seen before. So it's almost like we want to comfort you by reassuring you that you're not so unique that you are the one person for whom this is not going to work. It absolutely does work, and it can still work at this time of year. If you've got a wedding coming up as a guest or as a bride or groom, you can, a month is as good as 3 months, is as
Oh,
good as a week,
so yeah.
two, or just taking action is the thing that reduces the overwhelm. And I find that a lot of people do listen to us out of sheer loyalty, and God love you all, but sometimes there are those people that just say, I just stumbled across you because I was looking for the right solution, and something you said made me know that it was the one-to-one, it was you. And that keeps us showing up every single week, even
Yeah.
if it is sometimes just to tell you to drink your water and stay cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, just take a sip of your water whilst you listen to us.
Yes,
And just
exactly.
just as a little reminder. But yeah, I've had a few slimmers chatting with me this week about results and what their plans are and things like that. One of my slimmers messaged me, and she has been on plan for the last kind of 3 months. She's had lots of things. She's had weddings, she's had holidays, and we've been planning around them and
Yeah.
being on plan in between. But she messaged me, she said, the aim of this was the wedding, to go to the wedding in the outfit and get in the dress and feel comfy. And I was like, yeah, how's it going? And she's like, it's too big.
Too big. It's too big.
Big. And I was
People,
like, lovely problem to
I've
have.
had
I'm very sorry.
I had two new slimmers start in the last couple of weeks who have been so blown away by their results that they can't quite believe it. It's sort of like the cognitive lag of your brain catching up of what, with what's possible and what you've achieved, because we so often get so stuck in the I'm fat, I'm useless, I may as well just give up on myself mode, that we're casting around. But even then we're coming into it with a level of cynicism or lack of self-belief, and they've been really surprised. And we're just in that phase now where we're starting to extrapolate from that. Okay, well, if I can do that in 2 weeks, then what can I do in the next 2 weeks? And if I could do that in a month, then you can start setting some proper goals and some, time measured, realistic,
Yeah.
because you've got that information. Whereas when you are casting around feeling, like you just don't know what's going to work for you, or if indeed anything's ever going to work for you, that's a horrible place to be. So again, that's why we're here over and over again, rinse and repeat.
Exactly. I've got one client who's just lost 2 stone in 6 weeks, and she is going to the hairdressers tomorrow to get a whole new haircut. Whole
Oh,
new haircut, get her hair done. She's so excited. That was her reward. She said, I promised myself 2 stone, go to the hairdressers, have the works, get pampered, feel great. And she's like, I've
and
done it.
and also be that sort of, it's that outside matching the inside.
Yeah.
It's that there are things that we're holding ourselves back from. There's those outfits that we don't want to wear, and particularly there's those colors or those shapes that we don't want to wear because we're, hiding in the black leggings and t-shirt brigade. And getting your hair cut is a really big, it's a really big indicator of kind of like, it's an expression of your personality. I mean,
Yeah.
that. Look at the pink mohawk.
I mean, yes. I mean, if you have followed me for a little while, we've had all the hair in the
All the
last 5 years.
incarnations, yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking today. I was like, I think. Well, I say this, but you never know with me because I say it, and that will be an indication that I should cut it again. But I was like, oh, I think this hair might be the one. We might keep this for a little bit. I feel like
Famous,
me again.
famous last words.
I know.
I cut my hair short 2 years ago and instantly knew it was wrong. Instantly,
Yes, your
instantly.
hair does look lovely this length.
I get back. Well, yeah, it's not something you can undo quickly.
No.
The moment
Yeah,
you've done it. And everybody said it looked lovely, and it
it
did
did.
for someone else. And that's the interesting thing. I could carry it off. I can carry a couple of extra stone, get away with it. One of my clients called it pretty privilege. She was talking about herself and not about me. That's not just me being arrogant or anything. But there is definitely that sort of, I don't carry so much of it here, and you can hide a lot of it on Zoom down here in the hips, and it's not. It's got personal goals are really interesting like that because the the importance of it feeling like you.
I was gonna
That
say that's the key, isn't it?
that's
It's
the
not really
magic. Yeah.
like a
So
number, a dress
yeah,
size. It's not
I look
really.
absolutely fine at a size 18. I look great with short hair. Matter. It wasn't me. And
Yes.
I think also that comes with a bit of age and maturity and a bit of self-knowledge and all of those things. But really what weight loss can do for somebody is it can give them that insight into and that confidence to be that version of themselves that they feel comfortable and happy with on a sensory level. So really, it's not about how you look. It's about how you look to yourself. So quite
Yes.
a lot of people, like I lost 7 stone. When you lose a huge amount of weight, you can catch yourself in the shop, in a shop window, walking down the road and just be like, why is she looking at me?
Yeah. Who's that woman?
Yeah, who's that woman exactly? And not recognize yourself. And that sort of out of body dysmorphic kind of, maelstrom can really put you off at the beginning where you just go into a weight loss journey thinking, well, I've got to lose weight, right?
Yeah. I've got
And
to hit that number on the scale. That's the
yeah,
only thing that matters.
yeah, and it's not until you start. And I think that's why one of the reasons we're so passionate about what we do and about guiding somebody is so that you've got a safe, capable
Yes.
guide and a safe pair of hands to talk that stuff through with when, it's not crazy. You're not nuts. It's so much more. And when you have that safe place to kind of explore what this means to you and who you're uncovering in that process, it's really exciting. You can lose all of your weight and still want to bum around in black leggings.
Yeah.
Maybe you aren't just wearing them because you're overweight. Maybe we're not all just hiding in t-shirts. Maybe that's who we are, and maybe that's how we feel comfortable.
Yes.
Maybe you do want to, have bright pink hair and shave it off periodically when you're, it's not about the way you look for outside approval, but when you're struggling with obesity, it's all about outside approval.
Yes.
It's all about just sort of not, and that's why so many of us feel like we're just trying to hide so that we're not
Yeah. I mean, that's the
constantly being
irony, isn't
judged.
it?
If you are going to judge me for wearing, a picnic, blanket as a dress, which is what
I
I
do
think
love
every
that
time
dress though.
I love this dress, but every time I'm like, oh, it would make a lovely picnic
It's
blanket.
beautiful. It's one of those dresses. If you're not watching us on Zoom on YouTube, then Nell is wearing a checked dress, and it's like knit at the waist, so a big flare skirt. And I was just thinking, it's one of those ones where you just want to flounce around the parking, like it's got that kind of
I
skirt
do.
about
It's
it.
definitely got in it's full skirted as well, so it's definitely a
It's
kind of
beautiful.
it's a meadow frolicking dress.
Yes, it is. And we have the perfect weather for meadow frolicking of late. It's a full summer
I
thing.
I would never ever ever in the million years have these are the kind of clothes that I used to fantasize about.
Yes.
And just about being able to express yourself, have the outside representing the inside. It doesn't mean you have to lose weight and wear, teeny tiny clothes or, I was never a two-piece bikini kind of girl. I'm not going to be at my thinnest. I'm not going to be, but some people, want to wear bright colors and they don't. It's all those ways that our weight holds us back.
Yes, and
And
it's very difficult, isn't it? Because when you are heavier, for a lot of us, if you are kind of a size probably 22, 24 above, you're not able to buy clothes on the
no,
high
you're
street and you're
so
so
limited.
restricted. And
Yeah.
really, you're just finding things that fit all right and are comfy.
Yeah. And
They're really the only criteria,
yeah, so you
nothing
go into,
else.
even Marks and Spencers, they have these things online. They say they go up to a certain size, but they're not in the shops.
Well,
You know,
our one
but
is
you can't,
terrible if you, there's nothing in there above a 16.
no, you
Nothing.
can't try them on. You
No.
can't try them on. So again, it increases that shame because, well, you can, but you have to order them and you have to secretly try them on at home, and you can't just be
And you have
part.
to pay the postage. There's like a tax
Yes.
on being in that position. You're paying extra for the clothes usually because you've limited where you get them from. You've got to pay for them to be posted, pay for them to be returned if they're not right.
And equally, you're even in somewhere like Primark that does stock decent sizes, you're still walking around looking for the horizontal stripes because you kind of, you've had that drummed into you that that will be, that will be slimming, and it's such a load of BS.
Yeah.
If you are bigger and you are happy in your body and you can express that and you have that, then it is still congruent. It is about
Yes.
the match. It's about that sensorial understanding of this is who I am. And when I look in the mirror, I recognize myself, that what comes out of my mouth looks like the kind of, feels or sounds like the kind of thing a woman like me would
Yeah.
say. It's about that match. And when I really struggle with my weight, I lose that completely.
Yeah.
And it's that identity, lack of, or slipping, losing of
Yes.
identity that really sends me in. So it
Yeah.
affects my emotional well-being, it affects my mental health. And that is oversimplistic to say being overweight makes me anxious and depressed. Being anxious and depressed makes me overweight.
It's kind of a
Then
circular
becomes,
thing,
it
and
becomes
it's
a thing.
really hard. It's really hard when you find yourself in that position and you lose confidence in yourself, and we go more insular and we become more isolated, and then we think we're the only ones because we don't want to tell anyone else what's
And
happening.
that's the thing about the being with somebody that does
Yes.
get it, and also can reassure you that you aren't alone
Yeah.
and that it can work. And like we were saying, that your client 2 weeks in 2 stone in 6 weeks is a little bit mind-blowing. Like
Oh, she's completely like, what is happening?
you need some supervision there, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't in your wildest dreams, because all of these things that we've talked about, they become pipe dreams. They
Yes.
become like a fantasy life. Like if I was that woman, if I could do
If
that,
I
then I
could lose the
then
weight,
I
then
might
I
go for that
could.
job interview. Then
Yeah.
I might have shot my shot with that person who I wanted to ask out. Then I might have gone to the beach with my friends that day, but I didn't. I stayed away. And all of those things, it affects every part of our life. And then of course we've got this wall coming at us of just lose weight, just calorie deficit, just move more, just outrun it. And now we've got the deafening, we'll just use the jab.
Yeah.
But again, sorry, but I think the jab is fantastic for the right person. I
Yeah,
think
it's a good
Spinning World
tool.
is fantastic for the right person. I
Yes.
want us all to win. But what I sense as an individual, as a person that has struggled with their weight her whole life, do it quietly at home. There's still a lot of do it quietly at home on your own, unsupervised, and don't tell anybody. There's a lot of
Yes, sit in that shame, remain quiet. But you should be ashamed that you've even got here. You should be
you're not
ashamed that you're
watching.
having to do the diet
Yeah.
again. You should be ashamed. You should not be telling anyone. And you should wait until you're that beautiful butterfly coming out the other side. And then everyone
Yeah,
asks you how you
it's
do it. And then
brave.
you'll just go, I just ate a bit less because that's the
I know,
acceptable
and that's
thing
the
to
thing.
say.
But it doesn't break any of. If you're not watching it, I'm making some very wild hand
The hands are going.
I this is not me as a weight loss professional and a coach. This is me as a woman. I feel very preyed upon by the
Yes.
advertising that goes around that because it doesn't do anything to address the taboos. It is
No.
a weight loss solution that promises to fix you. It promises to get
Yeah.
you thin. We can do that, and we can be out and proud, and
Yes.
we can earn not earn our achievement. We can own our achievement. When
Yeah.
somebody says to me, "You've lost weight recently," I can say, "Yes, I have. Yes, I jolly well have." And I did it with hard work and determination and all of those things. But actually, do you know what? I did it with support. I broke down some real BS that's out there and was all wrapped up in my head. And I did it eating salted caramel bites.
Yeah.
And you never know, we might even have some fun along the way, but you've why would you deny yourself that? This just
And sitting
I
in
can't,
that
it makes me so
space, I know it took us both of us, sitting in that shame space of hiding away, quietly doing it, not telling anyone.
not tense.
All that does is you never work on any of that stuff, and it will creep back on the other side. And it's one of the things that plays into why people put their weight back on,
I
because
just
we
did
never
5 days.
actually deal with any of that stuff.
Oh, I just ate less. It was just the old it was just healthy eating. When you see celebrities who've lost a huge amount of weight
Oh,
and
there's a lot of them around at the moment because of things like the weight loss jab and surgery, and people can access that because,
I'm very happy for people to use a jab. I'm very happy for
yes,
people to have gastric surgery if that's what they
oh,
feel.
100%.
But be
But be
open. Tell
honest,
people.
because
Tell us what
otherwise,
you're doing.
I remember being at my heaviest and looking at people in the public eye who had lost weight,
And it
and
doesn't give you an ability to make an informed
I'm
decision.
like, how have they done that? Because that's what I want. And then they just go, I just ate a little bit less. And I'm like, well, I've tried that. That doesn't
Especially,
work.
especially
I'm not getting there.
especially if these are women that you've admired.
Yes.
That these are women that you've kind of considered allies in their achievements, their incredible achievements in their
Or
industry
they're
or their
also someone
career.
that's plus size and you
and they've been
identified with
and
them,
they've been
and
bigger, and you're like, oh yeah, but you're doing
yes,
it and you're out there being confident, and they're fantastic role models. So when they do that, but they're not telling you how and why. It's why when we've had ambassadors for one-to-one before, I've been really impressed with Martine
yeah,
McCutcheon talking about her weight loss experience. The Ola
from Strictly Come
from
Dancing,
Strictly
she
Come
did it
Dancing.
with us, didn't
She
she?
did it with us. We've had lots and lots
Yeah,
over
we
the
have.
years, and it has blown their mind. On the one-to-one podcast, our sister podcast, the
Anna Richardson did it, and
Richardson, that's it.
and she was saying that in past she's done diets and they haven't really dealt with any of the mindset issues either. It's just been a bit like
And
eat
she
less,
was
move
being really
more.
honest about how she
Yeah,
had lower expectations.
she was really suspicious of our plan, really
Not only did
suspicious.
it massively surpass her expectations of the actual weight loss, which is, I think we don't talk enough about, because honestly, I think we
Yeah,
think it's a formality. We're like, yeah, you can
yes,
lose a stone a month.
of course you can.
Like, that's never in question. But it's what we do, it's all the other stuff we do
Yeah.
that makes that possible. And that's what I mean about the kind of go home and do it on your own. Like, yes, technically the weight loss is there, but what makes you stick, the whole working on the hormones.
Well, at some point, you're going to run into some of those triggering thoughts, those negative things, all the stuff that makes it hard to stick
But there
to.
will
And
be
there's going to
people
be
who
no one to counter it, no one to say, that's not true, that's not fact, that's not
There
happening.
are people who must be doing a lot of that work and given the
Yeah, of
opportunity.
course.
That doing the one-to-one was what gave me the opportunity to
Yes.
sort all of that out, and to
Yes.
even take my head out from the sand and to start sifting through some of that stuff. That's why I became a consultant, because of the passion that I had about, and I'd been working in a wellness space anyway. I've been a baby yoga instructor for postnatal, for bonding, but also postnatal recovery and posture work. I've been training in the Alexander technique. This is kind of the space. I'd also been training as a doula after I had my second child. So when I lost my weight, it fitted perfectly into that wellness space. And now there's always more to learn. There's
Yeah.
always more to understand. So, doing my counseling skills, but also learning about perimenopause and working with menopausal women, and all of that coming to the forefront thanks to women like Davina McCall and others now. There's never not more to know and
No.
understand. And then along comes something that says what you wanted was just to lose weight, right? And
You just want to be thin, right?
it's that relentless focus on being thin,
Yeah.
and it just feels like it's swept away so much of the work that we've been focusing on for so many years. And actually, I've been quietly seething about it, but I never wanted it to come out like I was angry about the option for the
Yeah.
medication, because I think it's a brilliant thing.
Yes, we
It,
are passionate about getting the support that wraps around that so you can
exactly.
make long lasting change. Because I remember when I started the plan, one, I definitely didn't believe it was going to work. And but I thought I have to give it a go, and I can't think of anything else that I haven't tried yet. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to get a gastric band, and I might as well give liquid. I thought it was going to be liquid only. That's I didn't know anything about meal replacement plans. I thought I would be living off hideous shakes, and I was just going to do it because I deserve to be punished and I
And
deserve to be
everything that
hard.
I've been working
Yeah,
in was I was here to welcome you with open arms and try from the word go to break down. We are not going to hate ourselves thin. And
yes, and I
anything
think
that
I was in that
predicates,
place
yes,
because I
absolutely.
had
And so
bought
many of my
into.
clients are.
Yeah, I'd bought into that before I came to you. So Nell was my consultant, and
Had
that's
you
how I ended
bought
up doing.
into it? But that's my problem
No,
with
I
that.
hadn't bought into this.
It's being given to you like a fait accompli. It's not even an
Yes.
opinion. It is a
No.
go home and do this in the dark.
Yeah.
And we need to pour light and love and self-empathy onto that darkness, because otherwise, there are a lot of people who are having difficulty with it. Where are they going?
Yeah.
For whom are these people, this miracle cure being given to them that maybe isn't working so well? That really is, it's like it's a sort of it's being presented like a now or never, a boom or
Yeah.
bust, an all or nothing. And anything when it comes to your health and well-being that is double or quits is way too high risk, because the one thing
Yes.
we're never going to do is quit.
Yeah. And we're often, both of us work with our slimmers to get away from the all or nothing because it is the thing that will get you off plan and back into old habits quick as that, and have you feeling bad about yourself, back in that shame cycle, back in the blame cycle. We don't want that. And I remember before I came to you, I had, well, I was going to say, I was bought into it was very big, the body positivity movement, which was great, and I was like, I want to feel good about myself, but I was stuck because I could listen to all that, and I thought all these women looked amazing, and I loved that they had confidence, and I wanted that for myself,
But is that
but
because
I
they
didn't
inside
feel
pronounce
confident.
it's just this it goes back to what
But
I
I
was saying
didn't feel
about this.
confident. My health was being affected. I was way at the bottom of a priority list.
The
I
thing is,
felt a bit
goes
lost,
back
and
to
I
those
need someone to
sensorial
help me sort that out a little
goals
bit.
where you can be body positive, sorry, and if the inside feels like it's matching the outside, there's that
Yes.
congruence again. And if you don't feel like that, it doesn't matter how much you try and drum into me, just embrace it, love yourself, go down. I understand that in principle, but short hair feels wrong. It feels wrong for
Yes.
me. It's not a choice that I'm making. This
No,
is not who I am.
this
This
is
does
not a
not,
representation of
this
me
does not,
internally.
and that is why you will never see me super thin either. I have all of the methods, I can do it. That's not right. It's about finding your true
Yeah.
center. And that's why it's never going to be a number on a scale. But it's also why body positivity itself can also, if it's not hitting the right note because of those reasons, then what it sounds like is just give up on yourself.
And I had for a couple of years, I
Just
had just
be,
given up and
just
gone,
be
well, I'll
overweight,
just
because
accept
that's who
this.
you are.
Yeah. And I'd got to a point where then it started affecting my health, and I thought, you've got to look at this in a bit more detail. And I wanted to believe, and obviously we believe it very, as you can hear, we're very passionate about it, that you don't have to hate yourself thin, that you can feel good about yourself and be positive about yourself whilst moving to a healthier space for you. And I needed support in that to guide me through those first couple of weeks where I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted out of this, apart from I just wanted to be thin. And I needed my consultant, who happened to be now, to help me join all of that back together and have a bit of objectivity about it and guide me through how the plan works
And
from a
oftentimes
practical level.
we're hot housing ourselves so much that sometimes it comes out just like a
Yeah, I
and
was going to say, I probably just went
you just
at
need
you.
somebody else to go, that's batshit crazy.
I mean, I said to someone this week, they said all these things had happened, and this was the upshot, and this is what they'd done. And I just went, oh, that sounds perfectly understandable why that
I
would be the action you
I
took, actually.
I read something the other day. I don't trust anybody. It was a real comment section, kind of, I don't trust anyone that uses the word safe space or wellness. I'm like, okay, we're banning words now. They're just
Yes,
words. That we're not the context in which they're used, or that no, just words.
just words.
A safe space to work on your wellness. Gosh, how awful.
I know.
Isn't that isn't that everything that with such passion I've just
Yeah.
offered? You know, isn't that just the most dreadful thing that one can think of?
It'd be terrible to have a safe space where you can be honest about how you feel without any judgment, and then come back to a place of taking
Because you
positive
know
action
why?
forwards,
Because you know why? Because you should go back indoors
Yeah, go
in
back
the
indoors in
shadows
shame, be quiet
and do
about
it
it, don't tell
on your
anyone.
own. Because that metamorphosis, that caterpillar to butterfly process, that is the 21st century vision of go away and dry ice and tonight I will be. It's the Hollywood, fallacy of, go away and then
And re-emerge a
transform.
whole different person.
Yes, it's a tale as old as time. It is go to sleep for 100 years and then everything will be, the kiss from the handsome prince. It's the ugly duckling. I mean, these stories have persisted, and the what I'm saying is that having been in this space for 15 years more, because before that I worked in costume design, and that was all about body image, women's shapes, but also creating characters through costume and understanding how clothes change the body and change the person and the person wearing them. And I've existed in this space my entire life, and when you unpack that transformation is so surface level that it doesn't look at anything that's gone on underneath it or behind it. It's just you're fixed now. It's transformative. So everything's okay. So we don't have to talk about any of that other stuff, right? We don't have to look at it or understand it. We can come out and the world will love us.
Yeah. It's a
Talk
lot, and
about
it's a lot
putting
of
all of
pressure.
your chips on the table.
Yeah.
That, you
The
know,
pressure is so huge, and if you hothouse yourself too
you
much,
don't
you will
owe
crumble.
that
No,
anyone. You
no.
don't owe that to society, to the world, to the misogyny that's out there. Because if the misogyny is out there is bitching and moaning about how women supporting each other to, in a safe space where they can talk about this stuff is the worst thing that they can think of, I think someone might be feeling a little threatened.
I think so. And we should just band together and start a revolution. I mean, and I think that's the
I think we
upshot of
already
that.
have. I think
Yeah.
we already have.
But, and that's not to say that you can't do some of the work in private. We have a lot of clients who their family know they're doing it quietly, but they have got support with somebody that understands. And that is
There's
the key.
a lot of that pushback is, though, I don't need that because I already know. I know what I should be doing. I already
Me
know.
too. I know. I didn't do it, but I knew it.
But please don't think that us offering support is part of us on the bandwagon of because you don't know. Trust me,
No.
we're not the ones that think you're stupid.
I'm well
But
aware
also,
that
we're
if
not
there's
gonna.
anybody that's an expert in nutrition, it's all of us.
Yeah, it's
We
overweight.
know all the things.
Well, it's overweight dieters. It's people
Yes,
who have been dieting and researching,
we
and
know
we,
it
you know,
all.
we know it inside out, upside down, and back to front. It's not the not knowing. Ultimately, there will be unpacking to do. You can't avoid it, however much you try. And you shouldn't feel that you have to. It doesn't have to mean that that you have to be a different version of yourself. We're here to meet you where you're at. You will be a thinned down version of you. But also don't feel pressured into just transforming the outside, because just looking fixed is not the whole solution. And the one-to-one has been offering this support for years, which is why I think we talk about it so much. A lot of other people will talk about support because they're not really getting results. We don't talk about the results so much just because we know that you're going to get them. If
Yes,
we that that
the
that
plans
goes
work. We've
without
been around 40 years.
saying.
They work.
But it's also because, sometimes it is that transformation that can be quite intimidating.
Yeah,
You don't have to make promises. You don't have to
no.
do that. And you look at the before and you look at the after, and you don't see any of what happened in between. And
No, I
that
say it to
can
people all the time. You
lure
look at
you
that before and
into.
after on social media, and you think that they have been perfect to achieve that. They
That's
haven't.
what I
They've been
was.
a human. They've had challenges. They've had times they wanted to throw the whole thing out the window. They've thrown their temper
But oftentimes, the
tantrums.
only reason that they
Yeah,
pulled themselves back round, the only reason that they persevered is because they had
they
that
had
person.
someone.
They
Yeah,
had the consultant. That is what made the difference.
it is.
I'd been struggling with my weight all my life. I can hate myself thin. I was an expert at doing that in my early 20s, and I looked thin. But you look
Yeah.
at pictures of me when I was at university, I'm miserable. I looked miserable. They didn't actually, I wasn't conning anybody as much as I probably thought I was, because the outside wasn't matching the inside then either. So
Yeah.
it does all come together. We don't have to talk about it endlessly. A little can go a long way, but showing up for yourself, booking those appointments, making that initial consultation, giving us a decent idea, a bit of context about who you are, how you got here, how we're going to figure out the first step. That's it. It's only ever
Yeah.
one step at a time. All of this stuff, it just unpacks itself in its own way, and it is personal to you. That's
Yeah.
the point. It's the one-to-one. It really matters that what we discuss is focused on what matters to you. And that, I
Yes.
think, is what we're offering above and beyond. I know there are other solutions out there and they're fantastic for weight loss,
Yeah.
but there's more. There's more to that. There always is.
Yes. And we want to go at your pace and what's manageable for you. We never want anyone to feel overwhelmed, because a lot of time people come to us feeling overwhelmed by the whole,
The
even
great thing
just
is
thought of it.
once you start, you can't unknow that
No.
about yourself. This can only be a positive thing. And all of that is done with the brain power that you're not expending on all of the thinking and the counting and the weighing.
Yes. The plan is kind of taking care of all of that.
I
And that's
think
the thing that's the easiest.
And I think that that's where the marketing for a lot of the GPL1 stuff has latched onto. They're calling it noise. And I like that term, but I just think they've gone too far with that, because we get that overwhelm, and it's like a static. It's this
Yes.
constant
Yeah.
where
It's a
you're
constant
at work
prevailing
and you're
thought in
doing
your
stuff, you're
subconscious.
running the kids around, you're in every other way behaving like a really high functioning person, but all the
Yes.
time
Yeah, it's
you've got
just
this.
there constantly, and it affects how you run your life, the things you agree to do, the amount of socializing, what you wear.
Yeah,
It
every
seeps
single
into
step.
every little thing, and it pushes your confidence down. And as that happens and you feel less and less like you fall down and down the priority list, and it all just starts working together till we get in a place where we go, what happened? How did I get here? What
Yes,
happened
and all I'm
here?
suggesting is that taking a medication that just makes you feel full.
It's not dealing with any of that. It's not putting those building blocks in place, because that's what we're doing. We're not
Yeah,
creating a
but
new you. We're rebuilding back to the you that's in there. And we're giving you routines and things, practical things that can be achieved for the longer term, that you can put in place over time, that stay there, that
and
give
we're
you a
just giving you a place
chance.
to talk about it out loud.
Yeah. Just say, this happened this week. And we go, oh, yeah, I see that all the time. That's really normal. And you go, oh, thank God.
But
Because I
also,
thought it was just me.
if you are hiding in the shadows, where do you celebrate? Where do you
Yes.
celebrate those wins?
And
Where
you
do
deserve,
you
well,
praise?
that's a whole nother topic, because apparently
It's
we're
a whole
not
different video.
deserved to celebrate success. We're not allowed to say, I'm proud of myself for losing
I
the
think
weight.
that's
That's a whole
part
other
of
thing.
I think that's part of the dry ice syndrome.
Yes.
Is I'm just going to walk out my front door and I'm fixed, and it means that now I'm just going to be okay. You're good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not even really going to celebrate. I mean, a lot of people
No.
who don't comment on weight loss.
Because we believe we should have been there. We should have been
I'm
able to do it.
only
So we
doing what I
can't
should be doing.
celebrate it.
Yeah, I'm only
Yeah.
back to where I should be anyway.
And that just puts you back in that shame space
Yes.
all the time. And I say it all the time. We say it all the time. Shame thrives in the dark. Bring it out to the light, say it out loud, speak to someone in a safe space that you trust, and it dwindles away.
Why do you think they're selling it in discreet packaging?
Yes.
Why do you think they're putting it in little brown boxes so that not even the postman knows that you're taking it? What? Why?
It's all just.
Why are you starting from a place like that?
Yes.
Why are you telling me, as your to already be ashamed
that
you,
I've had to.
Yeah, you
to
started that. Have you seen the colours of our products? We are out and we are proud.
We are, and we are colourful like you.
Because you're not doing anything
wrong.
You never were.
No, you deserve to feel good in your body. You deserve to feel healthier, to have more energy, to feel like you.
So that when you lose 7 stone and somebody says to you, my God, what happened to you? You can say, I worked bloody hard for a year.
Yeah. And look at me go.
And I lost it. And now I'm going to keep it off.
Yes. And I feel confident
that
you can, because that's what we're trying to get you to.
And I did. So when you see on Instagram Heidi and I leaping around at a festival, I mean, the woo girl doesn't even start to cover it. We are proud of ourselves.
Yes.
And we're allowed to be. And I'm not going to apologize if that intimidates anybody, but you're not going to get me in a little brown box with your discreet packaging.
And it's why we're here every single week, beating a drum because we never want anyone to feel shame or like they're less than or any of those things. We are here to say that hating yourself thin is not a great strategy. You can feel good about yourself and move closer to your goals and change those habits over time to have long-term success and continue to feel good. And that is
and
what we like to
anything
work
that
on.
makes you feel otherwise. And I know that that's just my bugbear. But anything that lots of other things can make us feel
Yes.
like that. And I'm not, if you're a director client, I'm never ever going to send your stuff with one-to-one written all over the outside.
No, we don't do any of that. It's all plain packaging.
But not in a horrible, shameful way. I put
No.
little stickers with a picture
I
of
was
the
going to say, we will put stickers in there
I
too.
hope this brightens your day.
Yes.
You know, I think having come from the background that I've come from, there is so much in the women's wellness space, and I know how triggering words like that are for some people in the comments section, that make us feel ashamed of ourselves. And that is why I am here on earth to break that down. If you know,
Yeah.
I as a doula, if you want plinky plonky music on, if you want hypnobirthing, if you want hydrotherapy, if you want to, you know, then that is your right, and I will defend your right to do it the way that you want to do it, that feels right. And that goes right back to that sensorial learning of this is what feels right to me. I'm never going to be here to tell you that shoulda, woulda, should have done it like this. Even though, ironically, we're working within very regimented weight loss plans, we're going to do that in a way that feels right for you. We're never going to grind you down to a BMI of 20 because that's we don't work like that. You know, you are a whole person, and you do it the way that, you know, like I say, we've got clients that are using the weight loss jabs alongside doing plan, because we are all about meeting an individual where they are at. And that is what support can be a very woolly term. A lot of people just think it's a bit of like the odd text message going, go girl.
Yeah.
You can totally have that too. But, you know, there's a little bit more flesh on the bones, because it is about seeing you as a whole person and taking into account where you are at right now, so that you can find that groove and go all the way to where you know you should be.
Exactly. And if that sounds like something you're like, yes, I want to do that, then you can get in contact with either me or Nell and choose us as your consultant. You do have to choose one or the other. We run our simmers very separately.
Although
We just
you
come
get,
together
you know,
here.
like
I mean, you can tell we have a
get
very
one
similar
free.
ethos. But all of the links, the information on how to get in touch with us is always in the description below. We are happy to chat anything through, give you as much information as possible, or you could just click the linkedy link in there and book your appointment and take that first step.
Sometimes it really is just as simple as having the
Yeah,
initial consultation.
don't overthink
You know,
it.
that can be quite brave. Putting your name in my diary, I get very excited because my new consultations are yellow. So when I see yellow in my diary, I get very overexcited. I will ask you a few questions about yourself so that I kind of know a little bit more about you, what I'm walking into. But another reason we're here today is so that you feel that you know us better than we, you know, so that you feel like you are already the other person on one of these types of videos. It's going to be a Zoom meeting very similar to this, and we're just going to start.
Yes.
You know, but sometimes it's as simple as telling Heidi that it doesn't have to be all liquid, that we have all of these bars and all of these
At
options.
the time we had festive bars. It was Christmas. It was lush.
And that's the other thing, isn't it? Sometimes it is just breaking down those barriers that are, you know, in the shadow of assumed knowledge and assuming that people all feel the same about this, that we're all here for the same reasons, and buying into the bullshit that is right. So of course you want to be thin. You know, you can want to lose weight that align with your personal goals. You know, they can be a huge range of goals, but don't ever think that there's just that, you know, well, the BMI chart says you're a bit overweight, so of course you want to lose weight. You're never going to get that BS from Heidi and I.
No, exactly. And yes, and I was thinking today, the reason I think I quite like my hair like this is because both of us, as you know, have been back on plan, and I look more like me again. I get my face back. I'm getting my face back.
I think that's what
and
it is.
I remember having that same thing when I first did plan, going, oh, my face is coming back. I'm starting to look like me again.
But it's funny because you put up a picture this week and I was like, oh, you look like you.
Yeah.
You look like you. I used to think that. I look back at photographs of me and I had really little eyes. And the one thing I do not have is little eyes, but the moon face.
Me too. If I do it like a side by side, people go to me, oh my God, your eyes. And I'm like, yeah, because they just got a little bit encroached upon the
That's
rest of
not
my
about,
face.
yeah, that's not about being thin.
No.
It's about becoming yourself, getting back to
Yes.
yourself, or
Getting back to yourself, but getting back to the person that is currently inside you and
yeah, and
has
for
been
some
all
people
along.
who've struggled with obesity long term, it's discovering who that
Yeah.
person is at all.
Yes.
But you know,
Especially as we change and age and all of those things, it
that's
does
a
change along the way.
that's a fabulously fun journey. And once
It
you're in
is.
the right place, feeling confident you're doing the right thing with the, you know, and the plan's working, like I say, then you just start going, okay, well, if I can do that in 2 weeks, then I do that
Who
again.
knows what I could do?
Exactly. Yeah,
And that's where the confidence builds, and you get, before you know it, you'll be at goal and into maintenance.
I
Anyway,
like the videos where we don't really have a plan about what we're
I
going
was
to talk
going to say,
about. I
we
hope
didn't
you
have a
do
plan
too.
today. Can you tell? But we were passionate about a lot of things. Thank you for joining us this week. We will see you next Monday. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Bye.